Hero shooters love to act like every character is this carefully crafted masterpiece. But let's be honest, half the roster in any of these games is just filler. You've got the actual skill-based picks, the ones that reward timing, positioning, mechanics, and then you've got the cop-outs, the characters that exist purely so bad players can still feel useful. And nothing kills a match faster than when those shortcuts take over. It's the Wandas and Symmetras cooking you with lock-on garbage. It's Namor sitting back while his squids do all the work. It's Bum Knight sitting on a perch saying, "Give me Encore, I retire." These aren't characters, they're bums. And watching people play them and actually get value out of it makes you wonder if it's even worth learning the character that requires a million different combos that, if you put them on paper, look like physics formulas. Sure, people love to say, well, if they're just crutches, you should be able to kill them easily. But it's never that simple. They don't outplay you, they blindside you at the worst possible times. You're mid-fight, one shot from getting the final kill, and suddenly Namor's squids tag you from the corner. Or you're limping back to your team with 10 HP, seconds away from grabbing a health pack, and Wanda fries you with her hospital-ass aim. It's those moments where you just need that one extra foot or hit only for some bullshit to happen, and it makes you feel like the game itself is doing you dirty. Before we continue though, I want to ask you guys if there are any most hated, disliked cop-out characters from any games you've played. It doesn't even have to be hero shooters, just generally any character that you really dislike because of how easy it is to get value out of them. Also, if you want to join my Discord, you can find a link to that in the description below. I'm just looking for a couple more people so we can have events and generally shoot the shit, so I think that would be fun. And if you don't like the gameplay in this video, as people have said in previous videos, you can send your clips to my email, which I will include in the description below. But I also make posts. I made a post for this video, but nobody sent in any clips. So if you want to participate in future videos and stop bitching about the footage, then you can be the one who sends me the footage. So keep an eye out for those posts, and yeah, let's get into the rest of the video. Okay, so aiming is supposed to be the bare minimum in a shooter, right? Point at the guy, click the button, land the shot. That's the contract we all signed when we started playing these games. But every hero shooter sneaks in characters that just throw that contract in the shredder. They don't need you to aim, the game does it for you. For starters, Wanda in Rivals. If you've played against her even once, you know how annoying she is. Her primary tracks so generously, it feels like the game's embarrassed for you. You can dodge, strafe, bunny hop your way through a fight, it doesn't matter. Her chaos control is still cooking you. What an ironic name as well. It really is controlled because you don't have to do anything. And what makes it even more annoying is these bums will have massive egos. I swear to you, whenever they try to play any character that requires more than 2 brain cells, they realize they're frauds, so they swap to all reliable and then start chatting something about DPS diff. Like, be so deadass right now. But auto-aim freeloading definitely didn't start with Rivals. Symmetra 1.0 in Overwatch was the original offender. If you weren't around for her, imagine a mix of Namor and Wanda, maybe even Penny. I mean, I'm not an OG Overwatch player, so correct me if I'm wrong. But despite how bad it is, it seems like it was worse. That beam wasn't forgiving. It was straight demonic. Once it latched onto you, it stayed glued to you, no matter how much you juked or spun around. You could be breakdancing behind cover, pulling off acrobatics to shake her off. But if you were in range, you were donezo. There was no outplaying it. The game just decided you were fucked. And the beam was only half the misery. Her turrets turned every hallway into a minefield. She'd scatter them on walls, ceilings, choke points, and suddenly the entire map felt hostile. You'd peek a corner and 3 turrets would zap you before you even knew they were there. Then Sim herself strolls in, presses the beam on you, and you're cooked. That's why she was so infamous. She didn't just kill you, she made the fight feel like bullshit. Like, your skills didn't matter. The stuff shooters usually test you on, aim, positioning, reaction time, didn't matter. With Sim 1.0, survival was more about whether you accidentally wandered into one of her setups than whether you played well. So yeah, anyone who said they were playing Overwatch while one-tricking Sim 1.0 was lying to themselves and you. They weren't playing the same game, they were playing D-Day Turret Simulator. And then there's Viktor in Paladins, the equivalent of bowling with bumpers on, basically. On paper, he's the soldier archetype, which is dev speak for tutorial character. high damage rifle with no recoil worth mentioning, grenades that will always get value even if you toss them blind, and a sprint button that saves his ass if he overextends. His ultimate? Call in an airstrike, yell into your mic, and let the game take the wheel. People don't even really argue about him, they just call him boring. The community's been saying the same thing for years. Viktor is too easy, too safe, too generic. From what I read, Steam forums are full of threads calling him the most bland and brain-dead champion. One guy said that he just hardly requires any skill but still gets value. Another person described Viktor mains as people who poke, spray the whole magazine, then run and hide to heal. It's the same vibe everywhere. Nobody respects him because his kit kind of undermines the basic risks that make shooters fun. And yeah, Viktor can absolutely top a scoreboard. That's the kind of trap you see. He racks up consistent numbers because his kit is literally designed to be consistent. But watching a Viktor main act like they just carried when all they did was hold down primary on the easiest character in the game is painful. There's no outplay, no ceiling, no moment where you think, wow, that guy is cracked. Losing to Viktor isn't annoying because he's overpowered. It's annoying because it feels hollow. It feels like you got killed by the game's tutorial. That's what makes him a true cop-out character. Not because he breaks the game, but because he flattens it. He's a soldier man with a rifle, grenade, and sprint. That's it. He's what you pick when you want the numbers without the effort. The illusion of carrying without the skill. And every time he shows up in your lobby, you know exactly what kind of match it's gonna be. Boring, predictable, and cheap. That's the thing with auto-aim abusers. They don't even have to be the best character in the meta. They could be mid as hell, balanced on paper, whatever. It does not matter. They'll always be the most frustrating to lose to because they erase the most basic skill check in the genre. When a Widowmaker domes you across the map, at least you can respect the mechanics. When Wanda's hospital-grade aim beams you down, or Sim's turns vanquish you from every corner, or Viktor sprays another hallway clean without ever breaking a sweat, it just undermines skill expression. And that's what makes these characters so annoying. They don't test skill, they bypass it. They flatten the game, turn fights into chores, and give people the illusion that they're better than they actually are. Now, if Viktor is Paladin's bumper bowling character, then Tyra is what happens when you give that same character a flamethrower and let her ignore half the game's skill curve. She's the tank cooker, the area denier, the fucker that Hi-Res basically designed to guarantee value no matter how many brain cells you have, or you lack rather. Her auto rifle is the kind of shit you could hand to a blind man and they'd still get kills. Low recoil, forgiving spread, high damage at medium range. The kind of gun where missing feels like you're actively trying to miss. And then you add her firebomb into the mix, and suddenly whole areas of the map become no-go zones. Tanks die if they so much as stand near it, and squishies have to waste cooldowns just to step out of the flames. But the real scam is Hunter's Mark. Press one button and your target is basically tagged for death. You don't need to aim well, you don't need to track properly. You've just turned every enemy on your team into a DPS god against that poor marked soul. It's the most press here for free damage ability in the entire game, and it's why Tyra mains act like they've got insane awareness when really all they did was slap a bright red shoot me sticker on someone's head. And let's not forget about Crossfire, her ult. Hold down fire and watch as your gun turns into a lawnmower. No nuance, no decision making, just stand there and shred. Compare that to the execution and timing required for flank ults like Androxus's Accursed Arm or Sky's Time Bomb. Tyra doesn't need that. She undermines the very concept of skill. And now we have Moira. So Moira is what happens when devs confuse accessible and brain dead. On paper, she's meant to be an easy support pick for people who don't want to juggle projectile healing like Ana or insane utility like Kiriko. But in practice, she's the poster child for stat padding, auto-aim, and generally making Overwatch feel like it's on training wheels. Let's start with her beam. Moira's biotic grasp is crazy because it basically plays the game for you. The lock-on mechanic is so generous, you could be having a seizure mid-match and still land damage. Tracking? Irrelevant. Positioning? Whatever. Just hold a button. And unlike actual precision healers, Moira doesn't ask you to nail skill shots or manage cooldowns carefully. You hold M1 to damage, M2 to heal, toss out a bouncing orb that always finds someone to annoy, and fade out when you get in trouble. Congratulations, you're a god tier support according to the scoreboard. And that's the real scam, the scoreboard. Moira players live for the end screen where they can smugly point at their combined damage and healing numbers and say, look, I carried. Except you didn't. You ran around spraying purple mist at people while the game did all the hard work for you. Actual supports make meaningful plays. Ana sleep darting a Genji mid-blade. Again, Kiriko Suzuing a team out of a Grav. Mercy damage boosting a Widow for a clutch pick. Moira, she padded numbers in the backline and called it a day. And that's what makes her so annoying. Losing to a cracked Ana feels respectable because at least you know she had to land her shots. Getting farmed by Moira just feels like bullshit. Like the game itself decided skill checks, nah, we don't do that here. The most frustrating part though is that Moira isn't even overpowered. She's balanced in terms of numbers, but the experience of fighting her always feels hollow. The auto aim beam, the never ending orbs, the get out of jail free fade. It all adds up to a kit that lets people feel impactful without actually doing anything impressive. So Moira is the definition of a cop-out character. She's the comfort pick for people who don't want to think. She doesn't test aim, she doesn't reward positioning, she doesn't require timing. She's just purple mist with a get out of jail dash button. And when she tops the scoreboard, you don't think, damn, they were cracked. You think, damn, I wasted 15 minutes losing to a participation trophy. And of course, no video like this could be complete without one of the biggest cunts of recent times, Squirrel Bitch. On the surface, she looks like a meme pic. That's what we all thought when the game first came out. How threatening can she really be? But in practice, she's one of the most irritating cop-out characters in the game because her kit lets you play like an absolute, I can't say that word, clown, and still get results. I mean, she has nuts bouncing off walls and exploding in your face, pause, whether or not she even knew you were there. It's not aim, it's not positioning, it's just spam that the game blesses with way too much fucking damage. It's one thing when you can see a line tracking you, but this shit is coming at you from across the map and it's always an inconvenience. When you see a Squirrel Girl on the other team, you know you're in for a headache. It's equally as annoying when people don't know what to do when there's a Squirrel Girl in match. If they don't ban her, then they're lost. And that's actually a waste of a ban. If you have to ban Squirrel Girl, then you know that your team is not going very far. But she's still frustrating because it takes very little effort to make her feel oppressive. In a clean fight, you can respect losing to someone who tracked perfectly or timed their cooldowns right. Against Squirrel Girl, you lose to noise. Half the lobby looks like it's auditioning for AFV while trying to dodge nuts, especially if she ults and you're a character with no way to avoid it. At that point, you either hope your team can shoot the squirrels, which they won't, or that you can shoot them before they kill you. And Squirrel Girl players know it. They try to be goofy and quirky and avoid addressing how obnoxious it is. She's the Epstein Files of rivals, basically. It's the easiest bullshit in the game, and they milk it every chance they get. All that, I just love her chaotic playstyle talk is cover for, I can't aim, but I like watching random explosions carry me because I have the brain capacity of a pencil. They hide behind this veil of being an underdog of sorts, but deep down they know they're the most fraudulent players in the lobby. Playing against her doesn't even feel like you're playing against a real person. It feels like fighting an environmental hazard. The walls, the floor, the geometry itself turns against you because every surface is just another chance for her spam to ricochet and chip you down. Even when you finally kill her, she usually gets the last laugh because she'll die, but the last few shots she took will end up landing on someone, or she'll ult right before she dies and she'll likely take 1 or 2 people out. Why that shit still goes after she dies is just another indicator of how much the devs were catering to the lowest common denominator of players. That's why she belongs in the Fraud Hall of Fame, right up there with playoff James Harden. Not because she's the strongest in the game, but because she's the most effortless way to ruin a fight. She doesn't reward timing, aim, or awareness. She rewards flooding the screen with clutter and letting probability do the work. If Pascal and Fermat were alive today, they wouldn't need to come up with the theory of probability. They could just watch Squirrel Girl gameplay and be done with it. So you can call it accessibility or design diversity, but let's be honest, it's just lazy. It's padding. It's the safety net that makes sure nobody ever feels bad at the game, even if they're being carried by auto aim and splash damage. What's worse is how normalized it's become become. We all joke and clown on these characters, yet every match is full of them. They're not even overpowered most of the time, they're just cheap. They just make you feel like you shouldn't even try to play the game. And so losing to a character that basically hands you free damage feels disrespectful in a way. It's not skill expression, it's skill erasure. And the devs know exactly what they're doing. It's not about balance, it's about retention. They don't want you to improve, they want you to feel impactful. They'd rather give you a participation trophy than a skill curve. It's easier to keep people addicted when they think they're good. That's why so many people fail at something like Siege, because you start playing that game and you're either good, or you adapt and then you get good, or simply you fucking don't play it. Anyway, I think that's gonna wrap up today's rant. There's only so much I can complain about. If you made it this far, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe for more videos like this. It lets me know that you do like this type of content, and don't forget to join the Discord. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one, assuming I haven't completely gone crazy because Squirrel Girl and Scarlet Witch tag teamed me, which would be not bad, but also not great.